of 15, tidal volume 410, flow of 50, I to E of 1 to 3, FiO2 of 40%, and PEEP of 5. So then we need to set up our ventilator, perform our pre-use check, and set our alarms per our NBRC standard. So you're going to get all the pieces, right? We got our vent circuit, got our filter, our HME, and our suction catheter, okay? Big things that you're gonna need. So you're gonna need to know, put the filter on the inspiratory side, right? Then when we look at our circuit, how can you guys tell which side's inspiratory and which side's expiratory? Yeah, this little piece, right? So this one here is gonna be inspiratory, and this one here is gonna be expiratory. Then we've got our HME and our suction catheter, and you all know how to put that in. Right? So now we've got our circuit made. So then you're gonna need to be able to turn on your ventilator. It's so slow to turn on too. I don't know if you noticed that in my video.
That was really funny. I thought you were gonna like cut to
Well, I had Grant recording it and he didn't know how to pause on an iPhone. And so then I had to go into like iMovies and get them all to be on the same thing, and it's such a pain. But the best is like, I don't know if you can tell, but when I'm talking, that Airvo starts rolling at me. And I'm like,
Sorry, get the like the sheet, right?
we'll read it to you.
Oh, you're gonna read
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Sorry, this is so
And then you'll have a
shaky.
whiteboard
Oh,
and
so
you can do your math and
Okay.
all your stuff. Cool. All right, so new adult. All right, before I keep moving on here, who knows how to do the vent check, the breathing circuit check? Aya, come up here and do it for me.
Oh, okay, girl.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Here you go, girl. And just use your thumb. You can just cover it there. There you go. It is performing. I know it does that. You can see it going.
Oh shoot, it's the glare.
I know.
Can't. Oh, it's slow.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Whatever.
Okay, so Aya just completed that one for us. I'm gonna go ahead and hit this at the top because we did it. All right, so we did it. We got our circuit on now. We have our pre-use check. Now, who would like to come over here and put these settings on for me? Sabine?
Oh.
All right, honey, so go over into the settings.
Oh.
I want you to do volume control, assist control.
Oh, okay.
A rate of 15. All right, a tidal volume of 410. I have a flow of 50, so you're gonna have to turn off your autoflow.
Oh my god. No,
You
it's
got
not
girl.
you, it's the
Oh,
glare.
almost.
It's the glare.
Good job. All right, so now turn your flow to 50.
Mama, you're doing great up there. I hate this marker. I love you too.
Okay, and then I to E, 1 to 3.
True.
All right, and then FiO2 of 40%
Here, I'll just-
and PEEP of 5. Okay.
No.
And she's good. So now she's got all the settings on. All right. So I'm sure you guys saw with the Amy video, when it comes to the alarms, go ahead and start the ventilator for me, Sabine. All right. Ashley, have you played with the alarms?
Oh.
All right. So now it says place your alarms per NBRC standard.
girl.
Per NBRC, think 10% above, 10% below, and your PIP pressure, 10 above that, okay? So we put it on the lungs here. I'm gonna pretend like this is on the patient. Once as you hook it up to the patient, it's gonna show you in the middle here what they're actually doing, right? So 5, let's see, let's go up. You gotta kind of give it a second to get it to like get to its max potential.
That was beautiful.
All right, so hers is about 6.4. What's 10% of 6.4?
10% is 6.4.
Mm-hmm. 0.64. All right, so you're gonna want to make that pretty tight there. So it's gonna be 7, like 7 or 7. So turn it down to 7. Now, like you guys have seen in all your vent checks, this vent's constantly changing its numbers and what it's getting back on these volumes. It's not super picky we're gonna be. We're not gonna be like, oh, he got it wrong. It was supposed to be 7 and he put 7.5. No, we're gonna give you a little gradients there. But if it's supposed to be 7 and you put 10, then of course, you know, yeah, you're kind of far off from 10%, right? So then at the bottom there, you're gonna do your low for that 0.64 as well. So like 5 or 5.5 if you wanted to.
What is it for?
5, keep going up. You gotta go all the way to like 5. All right, minute ventilation delay. Can anyone tell me what that is? You don't need to for the final, but I just want you to know. So we leave it at 30 seconds. That's basically saying like if something happens for like a split second, it's not gonna do a nuisance alarm. It's gonna wait until that alarm is going on for more than 30 seconds. So if something random happens for like 10 seconds, it won't beep. And we do that just because the nuisance alarms have been one of the things that get people to ignore ventilators. I'm sure you've been on clinic where you're like, that thing keeps beeping and they're not moving. If it's always beeping, people stop responding to it. So you want to make, and that's why these NBRC alarms, you're not going to see it this tight in the real world because your vent would alarm too much, right? So peak pressure, this patient is 40. So what does that need to be? 50. All right, and this is where it becomes really unrealistic. Our set rate is 15. What's 10% of 15? 1.5, right? So you're gonna put that high rate to 17. All right, and then tidal volumes, 409. 10% of that's 40. So your high is gonna be like 450. All right, so then you place your vent on your patient. We're gonna pretend it's on him. All right, so the doctors would like you to suggest a vent change. How would you interpret this ABG? What 2 things could you change? The ABG is on the board there. How would you guys interpret that?
Where is it?
I know, it's like what marker they had over there.
No, where is it? Oh, it's right.
7.47, 41, 92, 29. So what is that?
Compensated respiratory.
Do you say compensated or uncompensated?
Compensated?
Okay, uncompensated.
It's uncompensated?
Yeah.
pH is high.
pH is too high, right?
Okay.
So it's not in the 7 point.
pH is high by
Uncompensated respiratory acidosis. I don't know.
Alkalosis.
Alkalosis.
It's an alkalosis, but what kind of alkalosis?
Metabolic.
Yes. So this is a metabolic alkalosis. So what would you do to fix a metabolic alkalosis? How are you going to get that gas to be normalized? How are you going to make it more acidic? Yeah, your CO2 needs to what?
respiratory rate or tidal volume.
You are correct. That is
Period, King.
So
Say it
does
louder.
everybody understand how he got there? Sure.
Can you explain?
With your CO2, the higher it is, the more acidic it is, correct? So with this patient, you are over breathing. You need to breathe less so you can get more acid into the body.
And what was the answer again?
It is lower respiratory rate and lower the tidal volume. Because
Okay.
what are the two ways that we can change minute ventilation? Yeah. All right, you guys. Bob is now stable and ready for weaning. Bob has a drug abuse history. It's been difficult to wean his sedation. What is a mode you would recommend to assist weaning Bob safely? You could do SIMV, yes. What's another mode? What?
No. You know it.
You know it. All right, what's the one that you mainly see up in? Not pressure support. 'Cause- oh, MMV, right there. Because MMV is going to guarantee your minute ventilation, right? So while you have this drug abuse patient who's kind of just like my guy I explained this morning, right? You can safely wean the sedation and know that even if you put too much on, that respiratory drive is going to be backed up by something. So either one of those modes is a correct answer to this. And then it says, switch the ventilator to your suggested setting. So Rube, come up here. Which one do you all want to do? You want to do SIMV or MMV? All right, so go ahead and change
You're
your
relevant.
MMV. So go ahead and go to your settings. Yep. You got it, girl.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead and hit OK. And that's all you gotta do.
Period.
Wait, and then do we need to change the respiratory rate?
Yes, we do.
Period.
What do you want to change his respiratory rate to?
What's it at right now?
15.
15.
Do like 12.
Why did you pick that number?
Because we don't want to go below 12.
Why don't we want to go below 12?
Because normal is 12 to 20.
Yeah.
No.
What?
There's a reason why. You got it's in your MBRC key points.
Well, because you don't want to go too low, so I feel like 12's a good.
MMV should be initiated 80% of your minute ventilation on mandatory settings. So we were at 6.4. What's 80% of 6.4?
Oh no.
80% of 6.4
Huh?
for the minute ventilation.
80%.
What is it? 5.12. Okay, so
Oh.
did I break it?
Yeah, I fell.
All right. So who wants to come over here and change this respiratory rate?
I'll do it.
Wait. So then why were we at 12?
Wait, so was that like a good number?
We'll find out.
Oh.
What are we doing?
Oh.
Wait, it's already changed.
So you need change to 12. I love how I did it for you.
Yeah.
Okay. It was 15. But okay. So
So the correct answer was 15?
Well, that was his original. Now
Oh, okay.
we need to decrease his respiratory rate.
yeah.
So
to
we're gonna
go.
experiment.
So
Period.
all right. It was 6.4.
Minute ventilation.
So 6.4 times 0.8 is
6.4.
Wait, can I get my phone?
What was the math again?
6.4 times 0.8.
Okay.
I want 80% of it. 5.12.
Yeah.
All right, so you lower that rate to where the minute ventilation is going to be 5.12.
Oh, okay.
That works perfect. 13 worked out.
Okay.
That was close.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So if CO2 was high, would you? I mean, CO2 was low. Would you turn up the respiratory rate and the tidal volume?
80.
Would it be the other way around?
No, it depends on your gas. So your CO2 can be low in a metabolic acidosis, typically, or a respiratory alkalosis. But you have to look at that
No, like
overall gas.
LDL.
So this one here is a metabolic alkalosis. So in order to make you're 7.47, right? So to make you more acidic, your CO2 needs to be more acidic, right? Because it needs to compensate for what the metabolic
So
problem's
the
doing.
CO2 can be higher as long as the pH is stabilized.
Yes.
Correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything like your pH is your golden goose. It needs to be 7.35 to 7.45. because the body's constantly like trying to compensate to get to that.
Molly's ready.
All right, guys. So once as you do this, then you'd switch it and you'd adjust your alarms again. 10% and 10. All right. Who wants to come up here and adjust these alarms?
Oh, I can do it again. Wait, what am I doing?
Now that you switch the mode, you guys switch your alarms.
Did we already switch it or?
Nope. So go ahead. You switch this, but go ahead and switch your alarms.
Oh, okay.
So 10%. So you got 5 now. So you need to lower this down to 10%. So 10% of 5 is.
I don't know. I'm really bad at math, so I'm gonna do this. Stop yelling at me.
It's my fault.
Wait, it says 0.5. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can only do 0.5.
That's why I keep messing it up.
Do I turn it?
So that's your low. And so normally he's what, 5.15 is what we said? So you want 0.5 of that, so 4.5.
Oh, okay. Okay, now that makes
Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, and then you're going to add it on top of that. So 5.15 plus 0.5.
5.15.
Yeah.
Wait, 5?
There's the two you did.
I know we're supposed to look 3.
And I'm adding that to the
Yep, so
this
split that one up 0.5.
up 0.5.
Yep, so 5.
Oh.
So it'd be like 5.7.
Oh, I'm adding it to here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There
okay.
you go, girl. So I was like, you can do this.
Yeah, I was
math.
like, wait, I
I
was
was so
thinking,
confused. That's fine.
Do we always want to go above what?
I mean, I would.
Like
10%
if it's
is
7.5, then like should I always choose 80 or should I choose like 7?
we're not gonna count you on either of those.
Okay.
As long as it's not like 8,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
Like, so you're close enough. So then the other one you need to adjust is this one, 10%, which is ridiculous. But do you love how I love the MBRC stuff?
Yeah.
Respiratory. So go ahead and just take that down to 15,
I can't.
right? And then that's going to stay the same, right?
Okay.
Because you're still targeting the same tidal volume, right?
Okay.
All right. All right. So, all right, everybody. Now that our alarms are set appropriately, name 3 measurements you would like to know to see if Bob's ready for extubation. What are 3 measurements that you would like to know, guys? RSBI. I heard one. NIP. And what's
Vital capacity.
vital capacity? Right? Those are the
There's another one. The tall one.
That's why I was like struggling with that thing. I was pushing it
It's
over.
the big one.
I don't know.
RSBI is minute ventilation divided by time.
It is respiratory rate and tidal volume.
What's the third one?
Are we divided by tidal volume?
Vital capacity.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is what measures you're wanting to measure before extubating, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So RSBI 105, right?
106.
105.
I sent him the textbook of this.
Hey,
So,
we saw it
okay.
on Lindsey Jones.
You guys did your checkoffs with Chad, right? And he was like, you can't find the RSBI on there. You have to do.
It's
you can find the
listed.
RSBI on here, just so y'all know. It is under values. I didn't count off anybody for this because of that, but it's right there.
Doesn't show anything.
It says because I'm not breathing
Oh,
spontaneously.
okay.
We'll be better organized.
But like
This was not great.
divided by, yeah.
RSBI is what is the math for it?
RSBI is, I don't know.
It has to be less than 105, right?
Respiratory rate divided by
Zoom into the
VT.
So,
Wait, respiratory rate divided by what?
The VT.
Oh my gosh. That's a video.
This video.
stand for?
Tidal volume.
It's already 19 minutes long,
Ashley.
guys. It's 19 minutes long.
No, I was just playing. I wanted to say
Are we done?
Oh, we got co-op here today. All right.
Are we done with him?
No. All right. Everybody,
you got to split it up.
Back to it. What's the question, Caitlin?
Why are we checking for a cuff leak right now?
We are checking for a cuff leak prior to extubation.
Yeah, why?
And it asks that. Why would you check for a cuff leak?
Prior to extubation, if
Yes.
you're extubating, then you're gonna decrease the cuff anyways.
We need to check prior to extubation. This was in your last class that I lectured with you. Do you know it? Yes, to make sure your airway's not swollen.
Okay.
Good work, Alexis. So, you have to make sure that that airway is not swollen, okay? And that's why you're looking for it. Now, does everybody remember how you get a cuff leak? How are you going to assess it?
I thought you took air out until you hear the leak, right? Oh, one of them.
That's minimal leak. I want a cuff leak, like for extubation.
Alexis knows.
Let it loose.
That's your minimal leak for when you have the tube in. To check for a cuff leak for extubation, you're going to take all that air out. And it has to be on a mandatory breath. You should be able to hear a leak, okay? So, air out of the cuff on a mandatory breath, and you should be able to hear a leak. Because what happens when you take that cuff down when someone's on mechanical ventilation?
It opens up their upper airway.
Yeah, it all comes out the mouth, and you hear it's like, yeah. Oh my gosh, in your video.
No, it's not on you actually. I wish it was on now, but it's not.
All right, you guys. So, if no cuff leak is present yet your doctor would like to proceed with extubation, what medication would you like readily available? Good work, guys. All right, now we're gonna extubate Bob.
We still have more to Bob?
This is it. This is the last for Bob.
Okay, because I'm already at 21 minutes. I'm gonna have to split up the video.
But I mean, I'm talking this whole time. When you're doing this by yourself without me talking the whole time, explaining things, it should be faster. You know.
No, I'm just saying.
All right. So when we extubate, when do we extubate, guys? No. All right. What are you gonna ask your patient to do?
No, wait.
To follow commands. Like, yeah, see if they can follow commands.
True, but how are you gonna take this tube out?
On their
Maximum inhalation. That's why we ask them to cough. So you have them take the big deep breath in. As soon as they're max, ask them to cough or blow out, whatever you want them to do.
Unless they start biting the damn tube.
If they're biting the tube, they probably ain't ready to come off that vent.
Oh, well, that's what they did the other day.
Oh,
I've had a
She was
person
like
who was
opening
like
her mouth like a damn
comfort.
pitbull. Like,
I've
"Get the
had to
tube
do
out."
that, and it's so like with all the family there, it's really sad. But point of maximal, tell them take a big deep breath in, and you can say cough, or just in breath in. And so some people struggle with the ET tube, the cuff, right? Oh my gosh, that was the worst part. I know. I was gonna say you've probably seen people do it different ways. And some people have very strong opinions about when to take that cuff down on expiration. It was funny, if you talk to Chad about it, he's like, back in California, they had a therapist that just go by and cut the pilot balloon and then go in and take it is their way to like take the cuff down. So biggest thing, what I do is like, take a big deep breath into me, and while I have the patient see them breathing in, that's when I take the cuff down, see them on max, and then take. Okay? So you're gonna extubate Bob, and then you're done.
How do you get the little syringe?
That's true. Let me go here.
It shouldn't, like, as long as it's pricked on something, it should stay out. But I know what you're talking about, where like you pull it out and it goes back in. Yeah, and sometimes like that can be so like kinking on it that makes it do that.
No, she like pans around there.
It's like The Office, you know?
Yeah.
That's so funny. It goes back in. It should stay out.
I'll be cutting this in two. It's 23 minutes long.
Perfect. All right.
Post them to YouTube and send the link.
You guys ready to do
Yeah,
another one?
Yeah.
That's true. I could.
Let's do
Right?
Don't worry, guys. There are lots of pictures.
That way
of
you
the
guys can
whiteboard.
like actually
I will be
pause
erasing
and
it.
stuff like that. And I always have to make a
All right.
YouTube channel.
I'm actually
I'll do it.
gonna not do breath.